My name is Lena Carter. I'm 34 years old and I work as a paramedic in Columbus, Ohio. I've been on the truck for 11 years. I've delivered a baby in a Taco Bell parking lot. I've done CPR for 22 minutes in a snowstorm on I-70. And I've told a mother her son didn't make it, while her Christmas tree lights were still blinking behind her. I thought I was good under pressure. I was wrong. The pressure that broke me didn't come from a car wreck. It came from a Hallmark card. It was December 3rd, 2023, a Sunday. I was coming off a 48-hour shift. My boots still had salt on them, and I was digging through the stack of mail on my kitchen counter because my landlord tapes a late notice to your door if you're 3 days late, and I was on day 2. Junk, bill, coupon, and then a thick cream envelope. My mother's handwriting. Loopy, perfect cursive she learned in Catholic school. Inside was a Christmas card, a nativity scene, and a folded letter on her monogrammed stationery. Lena, honey, your father and I have prayed about this. We know you've been struggling since the divorce, and we want to help you get back on your feet the right way, with family. We've decided to give the remaining balance of your college fund, $92,417.33, to your brother, Caleb, for his investment opportunity. It's a once-in-a-lifetime crypto mining operation in Texas. He's projecting 400% returns in 18 months. When it matures, he has promised to pay you back double, with interest, and we will all be secure. We know you'll understand. You've always been the strong one. You've always landed on your feet. Caleb needs this chance. He's had such a hard time finding his path. Merry Christmas. We love you. Mom, P.S. We're hosting Christmas Eve as usual. Caleb will be flying in to tell us all about it. I read it 3 times. My hands didn't shake. That's the weird thing paramedics learn. Your hands don't shake until later. The college fund she was talking about wasn't a myth. It was real money. My grandparents, my mom's parents, had sold their farm in 2001. They split the proceeds 3 ways. 1 trust for me, 1 for Caleb, 1 for my cousin. $75,000 each, put into a managed account at Edward Jones. My grandparents were very specific. It was for education only, accessible at 18, or for a first home purchase at 25. They put my mother as custodian until I was 21. I never touched it at 18 because I got a full ride to Ohio State for nursing. I never touched it at 25 because I was married to my high school sweetheart, and we were renting while he was in grad school. I was going to use it at 32 after my divorce for the down payment on the little 2-bedroom in German Village I'd been stalking on Zillow for 2 years. The house with the blue door. I had called Edward Jones in October to start the paperwork. The advisor, Mark, had said, "Let me just confirm the balance with your co-trustee." I said, "My mother." He said, "Yes." I thought nothing of it. That was my mistake. I called Mark at 9:17 a.m. on Monday. I was still in my uniform. "Lena, I was just about to call you," he said, too cheerful. "Your mom and Caleb came in last Tuesday. We liquidated the account. Wire went out Wednesday morning to a company called, let me see, Lone Star Digital Assets, LLC. Mark," I said, my voice flat. "I'm the beneficiary. She was custodian until I was 21. I'm 34. There was a long pause. Papers shuffling. Oh, Lena, I'm seeing the notes now. Your mother presented a signed letter of direction from 2019. It says you authorized her to manage the funds indefinitely for family investment purposes. It's notarized. I never signed that. I have a copy here. It looks like your signature." It didn't. It looked like my mother's attempt at my signature from when she used to sign my field trip slips in high school. I hung up. I didn't yell. I went to my bedroom, closed the blackout curtains, and I slept for 14 hours. When I woke up, my hands were shaking. Caleb is my younger brother by 3 years. He's 31. Since he was 19, his investment opportunities have included a vape shop that lasted 4 months, a dropshipping store selling LED toilet lights, a timeshare in Branson he tried to flip, and a wellness coaching MLM where he tried to recruit me to sell mushroom coffee. My parents have bailed him out of $47,000 in credit card debt, paid his rent in Austin for 2 years, and bought him a Ford Raptor he totaled in 6 weeks. I, meanwhile, paid my own way through paramedic school, worked doubles to cover my ex-husband's tuition, and when I got divorced, my mother told me, "Well, Lena, you chose him. I didn't sit. You stole $92,000 from me. My grandparents gave that to me, not to you, not to Caleb." My mother started crying, instantly. It's her superpower. We didn't steal. We invested it. For the family. Caleb showed us the projections. Caleb showed you a PowerPoint he made at a WeWork. My dad stepped forward. "Watch your tone. We are still your parents. That money was in an account with your mother's name on it. We have every right." "No, you don't," I said. "You had a fiduciary duty until I was 21. I'm 34. You forged my signature." He went red. "You ungrateful after everything we've done for you. What have you done for me?" My voice cracked. "You gave my college fund to your favorite child for magic internet money." My mother wailed, "He's going to be a millionaire. He'll pay you back double." That's when Caleb walked in from the kitchen holding a La Croix. He'd flown in early. He looked tan. He looked smug. "Whoa, sis, chill," he said. "It's not that deep. It's just money." I looked at the three of them, my family, the people who were supposed to be my safe place. I said, very quietly, "You'll have the paperwork from my lawyer by Monday. Merry Christmas." I walked out. My dad yelled after me, "If you sue your own family, don't bother coming back for Christmas Eve." I drove home. I opened my laptop. I didn't call a lawyer. I called someone else. My ex-husband's best friend from college is a real estate attorney named Priya. She handled our divorce, and she hated my parents more than I did. I told her everything. She was quiet for a minute. Then she said, "Lena, do you want the money back, or do you want them to feel it?" "Both," I said. "Okay, tell me about their house." My parents' house. Purchased in 1998 for $289,000. Paid off in 2018. Then, in 2021, they took out a $210,000 home equity line of credit to help Caleb with his startup. They told me it was for a kitchen remodel. Priya typed, "It's with Huntington Bank. HELOC, variable rate, currently at 9.1%. Balance is $187,430. They've missed 2 payments. It's 62 days delinquent." My heart stopped. They're going to lose the house. Not yet, but they're in default. Huntington will sell that note in a heartbeat to get it off their books, especially before year end. "Can I buy it?" Priya laughed. That sharp lawyer laugh. "Lena Carter, you beautiful, vengeful paramedic. Yes, yes, you can." I didn't have $187,000. I had $22,000 in savings. The divorce had cleaned me out, but I had excellent credit. I had 11 years of W-2s, and I had a very, very angry motivation. Priya made 3 calls. By Friday at 4 p.m., I was pre-approved through a private investment group she works with for a distressed note purchase. They would front 85% if I put 15% down and manage the asset. 15% of $187,430 is $28,114.50. I didn't have it. So I did what any rational paramedic would do. I sold my car, a 2019 Subaru Outback, paid off, for $19,500 to Carvana. I emptied my savings, $22,000. I borrowed $5,000 from my partner on the truck, Jamal, who just said, "Get those bastards, Lena." On December 11th at 10:43 a.m., a company I formed that morning, LC Holdings LLC, purchased the delinquent mortgage note on 1247 Fairway Drive, Upper Arlington, Ohio, from Huntington Bank for $168,657, a 10% discount for quick close. I was now my parents' bank. Priya sent the legally required notice of assignment and right to cure to my parents via certified mail on December 12th. It arrived December 14th. My mother signed for it. She called me screaming. "What is this? Some scam company says we owe them money. It's not a scam, Mom, I said calmly. I was on shift, eating a granola bar in the rig. It's me. I own your mortgage now. Silence. Then my dad grabbed the phone. Lena, this is not funny. I'm not laughing. You have 30 days to cure the default under Ohio law. That means pay the arrears, $8,940, plus fees. Or I can accelerate the note and start foreclosure. You wouldn't dare. You took $92,417.33 from me. You forged my name. You gave it to Caleb for crypto. You told me not to come for Christmas. Watch me. He hung up. Caleb texted me 5 minutes later. Oh, actually insane LOL, I didn't reply. For the next 10 days, nothing. No payment. No call. Priya said they were probably talking to their own lawyer who would tell them I was within my rights. On December 23rd at 7:02 p.m., my mother texted, "Please come tomorrow for Christmas Eve. Your father wants to talk. We can fix this as a family." I stared at that text for a long time in the ambulance bay. Jamal looked over. "You good?" "No," I said, "but I will be." I texted back, "I'll be there at 6. I'll bring the paperwork." I spent that night not wrapping presents, but printing documents. The original trust paperwork from 2001, the forged 2019 letter, the wire confirmation to Lone Star Digital Assets LLC, which, by the way, Priya discovered was registered to Caleb's roommate and had its website taken down on December 18th. The notice of default, the acceleration letter, ready to be filed December 26th if they didn't pay. I put them all in a red folder, like Santa's bag, but full of coal. Christmas Eve at my parents' house is a production. Catered ham, piano music, matching pajamas. I wore my Navy paramedic uniform pants and a black sweater. I brought nothing. They opened the door. My mom hugged me like nothing happened. My dad shook my hand. Caleb was on the couch in new Yeezys. Dinner was tense. Small talk about the weather. At 7:30, my dad stood up and tapped his wine glass. "Before gifts, your mother and I want to say something." He looked at me. "Lena, we love you. We made a decision we thought was best for the family. We're sorry you feel hurt, but this bank thing is tearing us apart. We're family." My mother nodded, tears already coming. "Caleb's investment is just delayed. The market is down. He'll pay you back, I promise. Just transfer the note back to us, please." Caleb added, "Yeah, sis, don't be petty. It's Christmas." I stood up. I opened my red folder. "Okay, let's talk family," I said. And I laid out every page on their white tablecloth, right next to the ham. That's where part 1 ends, the moment before I tell them I will foreclose on Christmas. I laid the papers out one by one, like I was triaging a trauma. Slow, deliberate, in order of injury. First, the original trust document from 2001, my grandparents' signatures in blue ink. For the education of Lena Marie Carter, custodian, Diane Carter until age 21. My mother stared at it like it was a ghost. Second, the Edward Jones statement from October 15th, 2023. Balance, $92,417.33. Third, the wire transfer confirmation. November the 28th, 2023. $92,417.33. To Lone Star Digital Assets, LLC. Originator signature, Diane Carter, POA. Fourth, the letter of direction from 2019. My forged signature. The notary stamp, I recognize the name. Linda Goff, my mother's best friend from book club, who is not a notary in Ohio. Fifth, the printout from the Texas Secretary of State. Lone Star Digital Assets, LLC. Formed October 3rd, 2023. Registered agent, Tyler Moss, Caleb's roommate. Status, forfeited December 18th for failure to pay franchise tax. Sixth, the notice of assignment. LC Holdings. LLC is now the holder of your mortgage. Seventh, the acceleration letter, unsigned. Dated December 26th, 2023. The ham was getting cold. Nobody touched their wine. My father was the first to speak. He used his nationwide voice, the one he used to deny claims. "Lena, where did you get these? This is private family business." "No, Dad," I said. "This is bank business. I'm your bank now." My mother started crying, that practiced silent shaking. Honey, please, it's Christmas Eve. Yeah, I said, it is. Last Christmas Eve you told Maya she wasn't real. Oh wait, that was Isa's story. This Christmas Eve you're telling me my $92,000 is just delayed. Caleb snorted. He couldn't help himself. Bro, you actually bought our house. That's psychotic. I turned to him. Caleb, tell Mom and Dad what Lone Star Digital Assets actually does. He shifted in his Yeezys. It's a mining operation. We have rigs in... Stop, I said. I pulled out my phone. I had Priya on speaker in my pocket, muted. I hit unmute. Priya, you there? Loud and clear. Her voice filled the dining room. My mother jumped. Priya Desai, attorney at law. I'm representing LC Holdings. Caleb, I subpoenaed your bank records this morning. Want me to read them? Caleb went white. Priya continued. November 28th, $92,417.33 in from Edward Jones. November 28th, $38,000 out to Coinbase. November 29th, $22,000 out to OpenSea NFTs, Bored Ape Yacht Club derivative. November 30th, $18,500 out to Caesars Palace Las Vegas, marked as entertainment. December 1st, $9,200 out to StockX for shoes. December the 4th, $4,717.33 out to your landlord for back rent. Balance today, $0. My father put his head in his hands. My mother whispered, Caleb, you said it was mining rigs. It was, he yelled, standing up. The market crashed. It's not my fault. It's a bear market. Everyone's down. It's not a bear market, it's a casino, and you're an addict, I said. My voice didn't go up. That's how you know I'm really angry. You stole my future to buy JPEGs of monkeys and lose it at blackjack. It wasn't stealing, my mother screamed, finally dropping the tears. We are your parents. That money was ours to manage. It was mine at 21, Mom. I'm 34. You committed forgery and wire fraud. My dad stood up too. He was shaking. You will not talk to your mother that way in my house. Your house, I said. I tapped the mortgage papers. Technically, it's Huntington Bank's house. And as of December 11th, it's mine. And you've missed 3 payments now. You're in default. He pointed a finger at me. You ungrateful little... I paid for your braces. I paid for your car insurance. And I paid for your mortgage for the last 12 years by not touching my trust, I shouted back. I was saving it for a house, while you were paying Caleb's rent in Austin. The room was silent except for the piano Christmas music still playing from the Bluetooth speaker. Silent night. Caleb tried the last weapon he had. Victimhood. Lena, I've been depressed. I've been struggling. Mom and Dad were just trying to help me get on my feet. You're going to put your own parents on the street at Christmas because you're jealous I got help. I laughed. Actually laughed. Jealous? Caleb, I'm a paramedic. I make $68,000 a year, working 60-hour weeks. I pulled a teenager out of a car last week and his mother thanked me by vomiting on my boots. I don't want your life. I want my money. I looked at my parents. Here's what's going to happen. You have 2 choices and you have until midnight on December 26th. I slid a paper across the table. Option 1. You sign a confession of judgment for the $92,417.33 plus 8% interest from the date of theft. You sign a promissory note to LC Holdings secured by a second position on this house, payable at $1,500 a month for 7 years. You also immediately cure the mortgage default, $11,820 as of today, with fees. You do that, I will not foreclose. You keep the house. You pay me back, like adults. My mother grabbed the paper. Her hands were shaking. Option 2, I continued. You do nothing. On December 26th, at 9 a.m., Priya files the foreclosure complaint in Franklin County. Ohio is a judicial foreclosure state, so it'll take about 6 months. You'll get served at work, Dad, at the golf club. It'll be public record. The house will go to sheriff's sale in June. I'll credit bid what you owe me. I'll take the house. and I'll sell it. You'll get whatever equity is left after my fees, which will be about zero, and I will never speak to any of you again. My dad stared at the paper. You can't do this. We're family. Family doesn't forge signatures, Dad. My mother was sobbing openly now. Where are we supposed to go? The same place I was going to go when you stole my down payment, I said. Figure it out. I picked up my red folder. I left the copies on their table. I walked to the door. Caleb followed me to the foyer. Lena, seriously, you're going to ruin Mom's life over money? I turned. I was inches from his face. No, Caleb, you ruined Mom's life over money. I'm just the collections department. I drove home in the dark. It was snowing lightly. The streets were empty. I didn't cry. I went inside my tiny apartment. I made tea and I waited. At 11:47 p.m. on Christmas Eve, my phone buzzed. My dad, Lena. We will sign option 1. Come tomorrow at 10 a.m. with your lawyer. Merry Christmas. I didn't reply. I set my alarm. Christmas morning, I didn't open presents. I went to work. We had a full board, 3 ODs, a kitchen fire, a nursing home patient who fell. At 9:45, I clocked out, changed into clean uniform pants, and drove to my parents' house with Priya. They were waiting at the kitchen table. No ham, no music, just 3 very tired people and a stack of papers Priya had sent over at 7 a.m. My dad had aged 10 years overnight. He didn't look at me. He just signed. Page after page. Confession of judgment, promissory note, mortgage modification, authorization for automatic withdrawal. My mother signed with tears dripping on the paper. She kept saying, we're sorry, we're sorry. Caleb refused. I'm not signing shit. It's not my debt. Priya smiled. Great, then Lena will be suing you personally for fraud and conversion in January. I already drafted it. It's $92,000 plus treble damages under Ohio law. That's $277,000, Caleb. He signed. At 10:37 a.m. on Christmas Day, 2023, my parents became my tenants, in a way. They owed me $1,500 a month for the next 84 months. I stood up to leave. My dad finally looked at me. Are you happy now? I thought about the 78-year-old man who died while his wife begged him not to leave her on Christmas. I thought about the baby I delivered in the Taco Bell parking lot who lived. No, I said honestly. But I'm safe, and that's more than you gave me. I walked out. Priya followed. In the car, she said, You okay? Not yet, I said, because part 2 wasn't over. The money was one thing. The mortgage was leverage. But I still wanted them to understand what it felt like to lose something you thought was permanent. On December 27th, I filed the foreclosure anyway. Wait, let me explain. I didn't file to take the house. I filed to create a public record. In Ohio, a foreclosure filing is public the second it's stamped. It's picked up by every real estate blog, every distressed property email list, every nosy neighbor with a subscription to Property Radar. Priya filed the complaint at 9:02 a.m. By 11 a.m., my parents' neighbor, Mrs. Henderson, who runs the HOA Facebook page, had posted prayers for the Carters. So sad to see 1247 Fairway in foreclosure. Times are tough. By 2 p.m., my dad's golf buddy texted him a screenshot from Zillow. Pre-foreclosure. By 5 p.m., my mother called me hysterical. Lena, you said you wouldn't. We signed. I said I wouldn't complete the foreclosure if you paid, I said calmly. I didn't say I wouldn't file. You have 28 days to answer the complaint. If you make your January 1st payment on time, both the mortgage cure and the first $1,500 to me, I will dismiss it, with prejudice. You did this on purpose to humiliate us. Yes, I said, just like you humiliated me by giving my money to Caleb and then sending me a Christmas card about it. She hung up. The next week was glorious chaos. My parents, who had spent 30 years curating their perfect Upper Arlington image, the lawn, the Christmas lights, the country club, were now the foreclosure house. My dad had to explain to his friends at the club why his house was on an auction list. My mother had to tell her Bible study. Caleb, meanwhile, disappeared. He blocked me, blocked my parents, and flew back to Austin on a ticket my mother bought him. On January 3rd, Priya's investigator found his Instagram. He was in Tulum, Mexico, posting stories from a beach club, wearing the Yeezys, holding a coconut drink. Caption: resetting my energy after toxic family drama, #blessed. I screenshotted it and sent it to my parents. My mother replied, he needed to get away. I didn't reply. January 1st came. At 8:03 a.m., my phone pinged. Automatic withdrawal. $1,500 from Lena Carter. At 8:04, another. $11,820 mortgage cure. They'd paid. Priya filed the dismissal of foreclosure on January 2nd. The public record now showed foreclosure filed December 27, 2023, dismissed January 2nd, 2024. But the internet never forgets. The Zillow history still says pre-foreclosure. The HOA Facebook post is still up. My dad's friends still ask. That was the point. For 3 months, they paid. On time. Every first of the month, $1,500. I didn't spend it. I put it in a separate high-yield savings account I named Blue Door Fund. In March, my mother invited me to lunch. Just us. At a little cafe in Grandview. She looked smaller. She said, "Your father and I are going to sell the house." I nearly choked on my water. What? We can't afford it anymore. The HELOC payment, plus paying you, and your father's pension isn't what we thought. And people talk. At the club. We want to downsize. A condo. I stared at her. This was not part of my plan. Okay, I said carefully. We're listing in April. We should net about $180,000 after paying off the first mortgage and your note. We were hoping maybe you would forgive the rest. Since we're family and we're selling because of this situation. There it was. The final ask. The ultimate guilt trip. I set my fork down. I looked at my mother, the woman who taught me to be kind to everyone, who also taught me that Caleb could do no wrong. "Mom," I said softly, "do you remember when I was 16 and I totaled your Honda Civic?" She blinked. "Yes." "You made me get a job at Kroger and pay you back $200 a month for a year. You said, 'Actions have consequences, Lena.'" She started to cry. "I'm not forgiving the note," I said, "but I will do this. When you sell, I'll take my payoff at closing and I'll give you a gift of $5,000 for your new condo because I'm kind. But I am not a doormat." She nodded, wiping her eyes. We hugged awkwardly outside the cafe. It was the first time she'd touched me since Christmas Eve. In April, they listed the house. It sold in 11 days for $675,000. At closing on May 15th, I received a wire for $78,417.33, the remaining balance on their note to me. I had gotten almost all my money back in 5 months. That night, I went to Zillow. I typed in the address of the little blue door house in German Village. It was still for sale. Price reduced, $389,000. I called the agent the next morning. I made an offer, $375,000. Cash, thanks to my grandparents' money, finally returned, plus the payments, plus my own savings. It was accepted on May 20th. On June 1st, 2024, I got the keys. I painted the front door a brighter blue. I planted hydrangeas. My parents moved into a 2-bedroom condo in Dublin. Caleb is still in Austin. Last I heard, he was selling AI prompt engineering courses on TikTok. He has not paid me a dime. My mother texts me photos of her new kitchen. My dad sends me articles about paramedic safety. We are cordial. We are not close. We may never be. Last week, Jamal asked me, "Was it worth it? Losing your family? Over money?" I thought about it while restocking the rig. I didn't lose my family over money, I told him. I lost the idea of my family. And I bought myself a house with the truth. He nodded. Fair. The blue door closes solidly behind me every night. It's mine. Paid for with money my grandparents intended for my education. They taught me well. I learned the most important lesson of all. Paper remembers longer than promises. And sometimes the best way to save your family is to foreclose on them first. I closed on the Blue Door house on a Thursday, June 1st, 2024. It was 82 degrees and humid, classic Columbus summer. The previous owners left a bottle of cheap champagne in the fridge with a note. Good luck. The neighbors are nosy but nice. I drank it out of a paper cup sitting on my kitchen floor because I didn't own chairs yet. For the first time in my adult life, I owned walls that no one could take from me. No landlord, no ex-husband, no parents with a forged signature. I spent June building it. Jamal and his cousins helped me move my one couch and my mattress. I painted every room myself. Soft white in the living room, deep green in my bedroom. I planted those hydrangeas my grandmother used to grow. I hung my paramedic patches in a shadow box by the door. And every first of the month, my phone still pinged. $1,500 from my parents. Even though the note was paid off at closing, Priya had structured it so the remaining balance was converted to a personal judgment against Caleb, which they had co-signed to protect him. They were still paying for him. By July, they'd paid $10,500 since Christmas. I hadn't touched it. The Blue Door Fund now had $88,917.33 in it, almost the exact original amount. On July 9th, Priya called. We served Caleb. After the house sale, I had decided I wasn't done. My parents had paid me back, but Caleb had stolen from me and faced zero consequences. He was in Tulum, then Miami, then back in Austin, posting videos about financial freedom. Priya filed a civil suit in Franklin County on June 18th. Lena M. Carter versus Caleb J. Carter, claims for fraud, conversion, unjust enrichment, and civil theft. Under Ohio Revised Code 2307.61, if you prove theft, you get treble damages, $92,417.33, times 3 equals $277,251.99. We served him at his new apartment in Austin via a process server who found him at a pool party. Priya sent me the video. He was wearing sunglasses, holding a white claw, and he actually said, "No way, bro," when handed the envelope. He called me that night, drunk. "Lena, what the fuck? You're suing me? I'm your brother." "No," I said calmly, while watering my hydrangeas. "You're the guy who stole 92 grand from me." My brother would have asked. They gave it to me. Mom and Dad gave it to me. With my forged signature. That's not a gift, Caleb. That's a felony. He hung up. 2 weeks later, his lawyer, a public defender type his parents hired, called Priya offering $15,000 to settle. Priya laughed and sent back a counter. $150,000, payable in 30 days. Or we go to trial and we subpoena his Coinbase, his casino records, and his mom. They didn't respond. Meanwhile, my parents' condo life was not the Instagram downsizing dream they'd imagined. My mother called me in late July, crying again. "Lena, the condo association. They raised the fees, and your father, he's not doing well." Turns out, selling the big house didn't solve their cash flow problem. It exposed it. They'd netted $180,000, but after paying me off, paying capital gains taxes, paying the realtor, and paying off the credit cards they'd hidden from me, another $34,000, mostly Caleb's. They had about $62,000 left. They put $50,000 down on a $310,000 condo in Dublin. Mortgage, $1,850 a month. HOA, $425. Plus, they were still paying me $1,500 a month for Caleb's debt. That's $3,775 a month, on a fixed income of about $4,200 from Dad's pension and Social Security. They were house poor in a condo. And the social humiliation was worse. Upper Arlington is a small town in a big city. Everyone knew about the foreclosure filing. Mrs. Henderson had not deleted her Facebook post. My dad stopped going to the golf club because the guys keep asking about the market. My mother quit Bible study because the prayers felt pointed. On August 3rd, my dad had a mild heart attack. Not a big one, an STEMI, we call it. He was mowing the tiny patch of grass behind their condo in 92-degree heat. My mother called 911. I was off duty, but I heard the call go out on my scanner app. Engine 22, Medic 14, my old station. I met them at Dublin Methodist. I walked in wearing civilian clothes. My mother saw me and collapsed into me. "He's okay, Mom, he's okay." My dad was in a bed, oxygen on, monitors beeping. He looked small. He looked at me and his eyes filled. "Lena, I'm sorry." It was the first time he'd said it without a but. I sat with him for 3 hours. We didn't talk about money. We talked about his garden, about my hydrangeas, about work. When I left, my mother walked me out. "Thank you for coming." "He's my dad," I said. "I know we don't deserve—" "Mom, stop." I was tired. "You don't get to be the victim here. You made choices. Now you're living with them, just like I am." She nodded. That night, I decided to have a housewarming. Not because I wanted a party, because I wanted a boundary. I wanted to fill my house with people who chose me, not people who were obligated to me. I invited Jamal and his wife, Priya, and her girlfriend, 3 girls from the station, my neighbor from German village who brought me tomatoes, and after thinking for 2 days, my parents. I did not invite Caleb. The invitation was simple. Texted, housewarming, Blue Door House. Saturday, August 24th, 6 p.m. No gifts. Just bring yourself. My mother replied in 30 seconds. "We'll be there. Can we bring your favorite lemon bars?" I replied, "Yes." My dad texted separately. "Proud of you, kiddo." I stared at that text for a long time. The week before the party, Priya called with news. Caleb's lawyer wants to settle. For real this time. Turns out the discovery process was ugly for him. We had his bank records, his texts to his roommate. LOL just got $90,000 from my idiot sister's college fund. His Caesars player's card showing $18,500 in losses in one night. And we had his deposition scheduled for September 10th, where Priya was going to ask him, under oath, if he'd ever held a real job. His parents, my parents, had told him they would not pay another dime for his lawyers. Settlement offer, $75,000, paid us $2,000 a month for 37.5 months, with a confession of judgment attached if he missed one payment, plus a written apology to be posted publicly if he defaulted. I told Priya to take it, not because I needed the money, I had the house, but because I wanted a monthly reminder. I wanted that $2,000 ping every month, just like my parents' $1,500. He signed on August 19th. The first payment was due September 1st. August 24th arrived. Hot, perfect Ohio summer evening. I strung lights in my backyard. Jamal brought a smoker. Priya brought wine. My house smelled like home. My parents arrived at 6:15. My mother had lemon bars, still warm. My dad had a small potted hydrangea. He handed it to me awkwardly. "For the garden," he said. "Blue ones are hard to grow." "Thanks, Dad." They walked through my house slowly, quietly. My mother touched the door frames. My dad looked at my patch shadow box. "This is really nice, Lena," my mother said. "You did this all yourself?" "Yeah," I said, "with my money." She flinched, but nodded. We ate on the back patio. Everyone was laughing. My work friends telling stories. Priya telling my dad about her golf swing. It was normal. It was easy. At about 8:30, my dad asked to speak to me privately. We went inside to my kitchen. He leaned against my counter in my house, and sighed. "Lena, your mother and I, we owe you more than money." I waited. "We failed you. We chose Caleb over and over because he was loud. He needed us. You never did. You were always so capable. We thought you wouldn't mind." "I minded," I said quietly. "I know. I see that now, watching you buy this house with the money we tried to take. I'm ashamed." He pulled an envelope out of his pocket. "We can't pay you the $1,500 anymore. Not with the condo and everything. We talked to Priya. She said we could offer you this." Inside was a cashier's check. $42,000. And the deed. "What's this?" I asked. "It's the deed to the burial plots," he said. "At Resurrection Cemetery. 4 plots. Your grandparents bought them in 1975. For all of us. We're signing ours over to you. And the check. It's the rest of our savings. It's not $92,000. It's what we have. Please, let us be done. I looked at the check. $42,000. Combined with the $10,500 they'd already paid, plus the $78,000 from closing, plus Caleb's upcoming payments, I would end up with more than they'd stolen. But that wasn't the point anymore. I folded the check and handed it back. Dad, keep it. He stared. What? Keep your savings. Keep the burial plots. I don't want you broke. I want you accountable. Lena, I'll tell Priya to terminate the $1,500 payments, effective September 1st. You paid me back at closing. We're square on the money. My mother had come inside and heard. She started crying. Again. But I continued, I'm not forgetting, and I'm not pretending. You don't get to come to Thanksgiving and act like nothing happened. You don't get to ask me for babysitting or for help when you're old and then pretend you didn't choose him over me for 30 years. My dad nodded slowly. Fair. And Caleb? I asked. My mother looked down. We haven't spoken to him since he asked us for money for a lawyer. He said we abandoned him. I almost laughed. Good. I walked them to the door at 9:30. My mother hugged me tight. Your house is beautiful. Your grandparents would be so proud. They would be proud I used their money for a house, I said. Not for monkey JPEGs. My dad squeezed my shoulder. See you soon, kiddo. Yeah, I said. Soon. After they left, Priya found me on the back porch cleaning up. You okay? She asked. Yeah, I said, and I meant it. I think I finally evicted them from my head. She raised her wine glass. To the blue door. To the blue door. My phone pinged at 11:47 p.m. It was an automatic notification I'd set up months ago. Zillow price alert. The house at 1247 Fairway Drive, my childhood home, had just been relisted by its new owners. They'd painted it gray, ripped out my mother's roses, put in a modern fence. It sold for $712,000. I looked at my own blue door, glowing under the string lights. I didn't feel sad. I didn't feel angry. I felt finished. The next morning, September 1st, at 8:03 a.m., my phone pinged. $2,000 from Caleb J. Carter. I smiled, transferred it straight to my Blue Door fund, and went for a run. Part 3 ends here, with Lena in her house, parents humbled, Caleb paying monthly. The $2,000 payments from Caleb came like clockwork for 4 months. September, October, November, December, 2024. Every first of the month at 8:03 a.m. Probably an automatic transfer he set and forgot. I never spent it. I didn't need it. My paramedic salary covered my mortgage, my hydrangeas, my life. The Blue Door Fund sat at $96,917.33 by Christmas. More than my grandparents had originally left me, thanks to interest and Caleb's forced contributions. My parents and I settled into something new. Not close, not healed, but honest. We did Thanksgiving at my house in 2024. My mother brought lemon bars. My dad brought a new smoke detector, because you're a paramedic. You should know better. We didn't talk about the money. We talked about my neighbor's dog. Caleb did not come. He wasn't invited. He was in Phoenix by then. According to Instagram, selling a course called Crypto Comeback Blueprint for $297. On January 1st, 2025, the payment didn't come. At 8:03 a.m., nothing. By noon, nothing. By 5 p.m., Priya texted me. He missed. Grace period is 5 days per the settlement. On January 6th, Priya filed the confession of judgment. In Ohio, that means we didn't need a trial. He had already agreed that if he missed a payment, we could enter judgment for the full remaining balance immediately. $67,000. The court stamped it January 9th. Priya then filed a wage garnishment with his employer. Turns out he actually had a real job, working in sales for a solar panel company in Tempe. HR was not thrilled. His first garnished paycheck hit on January 31st. $847.12. He called me screaming at 9 p.m. that night. I was just getting off shift. You're taking my rent money, you crazy bitch. I was sitting in the ambulance bay, still in my boots. I put him on speaker so Jamal could hear. "Caleb," I said calmly, "you signed a contract. You agreed to pay $2,000 a month. You missed. Now the court takes it." "I don't have it. The course isn't selling." "Then get a second job," I said, like I did when I was 19 at Kroger, paying Dad back for the Civic. He hung up. He called back 3 times. I blocked him. The garnishment continued. $847, then $912, then $790. Sales jobs are commission-based. It was slow, it was messy, but it was happening. In March, my mother called. "Lena, honey, Caleb says he's going to be homeless." "Okay," I said. "Lena, Mom, he's 32. He makes $55,000 a year selling solar. He spends $400 a month on sneakers. He'll be fine. He's your brother." "No," I said, and it felt true for the first time. "He's your son. He stopped being my brother when he stole from me and laughed about it." She was quiet. Then she said, "I understand." That was the first time she ever said that, and meant it. April 2025, 1 year and 4 months after the Christmas Eve red folder. Priya called with an idea. The settlement had a clause, the written apology. He never wrote it. If he defaults, we can enforce the public posting provision. Want to? I thought about it for a week. Did I want revenge, or did I want peace? I was already at peace in my Blue Door house. But I remembered that 16-year-old girl at Kroger, scanning groceries to pay back a car while her parents paid Caleb's rent. "Yes," I told Priya, "post it. We didn't have an apology, so Ohio law lets us post the judgment and the facts." Priya drafted a 1-page statement, filed it as a public record, and then, because she is gloriously petty, she paid $50 to boost it on Facebook to everyone in Upper Arlington, Dublin, and Tempe, Arizona, aged 28 to 35, with interests in entrepreneurship and crypto. It went live on April 17th at 7 p.m. It read, "Public Notice of Judgment." On January 9th, 2025, the Franklin County Court entered judgment against Caleb J. Carter in the amount of $67,000 for fraud and conversion. Of his sister's $92,417.33 college trust fund, which he used to purchase NFTs and gamble in Las Vegas in 2023. Mr. Carter is currently subject to wage garnishment. This notice is published pursuant to settlement agreement. We attach the bank records, the Coinbase receipts, the Caesars Palace charge. It got 412 shares in 24 hours. Mrs. Henderson shared it to the HOA page with the comment, "Sad to see." Caleb called my dad hysterical. My dad told him, "Son, you made your bed." That was the last time my parents bailed him out. May 2025. I was working a day shift. We got a call, 68-year-old male, chest pain, at a condo in Dublin. Address, 4550 Tuttle Crossing, Unit 204, my parents' condo. My heart jumped into my throat. Jamal drove while I prepped the monitor. We got there in 6 minutes. It wasn't my dad. It was their neighbor. My dad was in the hallway in his slippers, holding the neighbor's dog, looking panicked. When he saw me in uniform, his whole body sagged. Lena, thank God. We worked the patient, got him stable, transported. My dad rode in the front seat of the medic, against protocol, but Jamal looked the other way. At the hospital, after we transferred care, my dad sat in the family room with me. He was shaking. "You were so calm," he said. "So good. It's my job, Dad." "I know, I'm proud of you. I should have said that more, instead of everything else." I handed him a cup of terrible hospital coffee. "You can say it now," he cried, quietly, into the coffee. "I'm sorry we chose him. We thought you didn't need us. You were always the strong one. We were wrong. Strong people need people too." I hugged him. He smelled like Old Spice and worry. That night, I went home and opened the Blue Door Fund spreadsheet. Balance, $103,429.12. My grandparents, $75,000, plus interest, plus repayments, plus growth. I made a decision. On June 1st, 2025, exactly 1 year after I bought the Blue Door house, I invited my parents over for dinner. Just the 3 of us. I made spaghetti the way my mom taught me. After dinner, I handed them an envelope. Inside was a check for $42,000, the exact amount they'd offered me a year ago from their savings. And a letter. Mom and Dad, you paid me back. With interest, with humiliation, with honesty. I'm giving this back because I don't want your retirement money. I want something else. I want you to come to dinner once a month. I want you to remember Maya's birthday. I mean, my hydrangea's planting anniversary. I want you to never, ever give Caleb money again without talking to me first. If you do that for 1 year, on June 1st, 2026, I will forgive the rest of Caleb's debt and tell Priya to release the garnishment. This is not because you deserve it. It's because I deserve peace. Love, Lena. My mother read it and sobbed. The real kind, not the manipulative kind. My dad just nodded, tears running down his face. We can do that, he said. We will, my mother whispered. They left at 9 p.m., holding hands. I watched them drive away from my blue porch. Caleb's garnishment is still active. As of today, April 19th, 2026, he has paid back $18,442.18 of the $67,000. He works at a call center now. Solar company fired him after the public notice. He lives with 3 roommates in Mesa. He hasn't posted on Instagram in 8 months. He texted me last week for the first time in a year. Can we talk? I haven't replied yet. I will. Eventually. Maybe. My parents come for dinner on the first Sunday of every month. My dad fixes things around my house without asking. My mother weeds my hydrangeas. Last month, she brought lemon bars and didn't mention Caleb once. Yesterday, Jamal asked me if I regretted it. Buying the mortgage, filing the foreclosure, humiliating them. I was repotting a blue hydrangea on my front step. The sun was warm. No, I said. I regret that I had to, but I don't regret that I did. He nodded. You know what your problem is, Carter? What? You're too good at CPR. You keep bringing dead relationships back to life just to see if they'll breathe on their own. I laughed. Maybe. But this one is on a DNR now. If it lives, it lives. If not, I tried. I looked at my blue door. At the house, my grandparents' money bought me, eventually. At the life I built with my own hands, my own shifts, my own boundaries. My phone pinged. 8:03 a.m. on the 1st of the month. Not Caleb. Not my parents. Zillow alert. Your home value is up 12%. I smiled, tucked my phone away, and went inside to make coffee. Paper remembers longer than feelings do. But sometimes, if you're lucky and you're stubborn, you get to write the ending yourself. My name is Lena Carter. I'm 34 years old, and I still work the night shift as a paramedic in Columbus, Ohio. A year ago, my parents stole $92,000 from me, my college fund my grandparents left me, and gave it to my brother for crypto and casino chips. So I bought their mortgage. I foreclosed on their house on Christmas Eve, and I made them pay me back, dollar by dollar, in front of everyone they tried to impress. Today, I live in the little blue door house I always dreamed of. It's paid for, not with their guilt, but with my grandparents' love, finally returned. My parents come over for dinner once a month now. They bring lemon bars. They don't bring excuses. My brother? He's still paying me $800 a month through wage garnishment. He learned the hard way that family money isn't free. It's a loan you pay back with interest, humiliation, and time. People ask me if I feel bad. If I went too far, I tell them this. I didn't destroy my family. I just stopped letting them destroy me. My grandparents taught me to save for college. My parents taught me that paper is stronger than promises. And I taught myself that the strongest thing you can do is close the door on the people who keep stealing your keys, and then paint that door blue, and never give them a copy again. Because in the end, it was never about the $92,000. It was about respect. And I finally bought mine back.